Hello and welcome back to Culture and Cannabis. I am Derek Gummin. I am guest hosting today. It's going to be a long show for JC and Tony. They are in Oklahoma as per usual when I usually step into this role. They will be rocking and rolling next week, but right now they're hustling their game. They got the new Hustler pre-roll down there that they're trying to make world famous out of OKC. And I don't know if you all know this, but it is JC Coates' birthday. So make sure that each and every one of you wish him a big old happy birthday today on social media. Shoot a little DM, shoot a text, whatever you got. Make sure he feels the love, because you know if he was here, y'all would be getting the same love too. So without further ado, today we are here with Trevor Christensen, a good friend of mine, old buddy, and truly a pioneer in the Nevada cannabis game. He's been doing his thing for a long time, way before we were legal, and he's brought his expertise into the Nevada legal cannabis game. And he's got some great things on his resume, but I'll let him speak for that later during this episode. But for now, Trev, how you been, man? How's everything going? What's up?
Life's good, man. This is a wild industry, and so thankful to be a part of it. Thankful to work around so many smart people in this industry, and thankful for the opportunity to make, mistakes and learn from them and keep pushing forward. So it's great to see you. Thank you so much for having me on. Shout out JC, shout out Tony. Thanks, guys. Love what you guys are doing.
Well, thanks for being here, Trev. And yeah, man, listen, I love to gas you up, and I'm one of your number one fans. So, it's always good to, put our minds together. And, for those of you who don't know, Trevor and I used to be roommates. He was working for a few different companies, in the past, in sales, and some on the back end, where he was, kind of in the dirt. But, he was my roommate for a while, and he was working for Deep Roots Harvest. And at the time, I really didn't know Trev too much. And, him and I were kind of getting to know each other. I actually got, recommended Trevor as a roommate from another friend of mine. So he ended up just kind of falling in my lap when I had an open room in my house at the time. And, a friendship blossomed. Trevor is really an inspiration when it comes to what it takes to get done, right? And, nobody knows that better than Tony and JC. But Trevor's one of those guys that goes out, has a plan, sticks to this plan, and adjusts when he needs to. I think that's what I learned the most from him is, you can't have an ego when it comes to cultivating your own flower. And Trevor actually helped me along the way, do that in my own backyard, from scratch, knowing nothing. And so, I got a lot of knowledge from Trev. Trev, give me, and me and, the people watching out there at home, just a little bit of insight into your background and how you got into cannabis and where you got all your knowledge from, how to grow and how to treat the plant the way, you want to treat it if you want it to be a huge success.
Yeah, that's a really good question, and I appreciate those times and the opportunity to bring me into Las Vegas and give me a good home to work out of, man. And I'll start with how I got into this industry. Ultimately, about 17, I enjoyed using the plant. I started smoking. I enjoyed that process. As times went on, I looked at it quite differently, So I had some really good mentors during that time, and I made a lot of, mistakes during that time. I started like anybody else in a garage, and if you're listening to one guy back then, there's not a ton of information and a ton of science. So I started just making a ton of mistakes ultimately. I started partnering with multiple people and understanding that you do need a team to accomplish that this process and growing this plant. And I enjoyed it. It was chaotic. Even though, it had its legality issues, I saw the opportunity. And one of my good friends, John Marshall from Deep Roots, told me, chaos equals opportunity. So I was really grateful to start my legal career at Deep Roots Harvest. Shout out Deep Roots, amazing company. I think they're one of the best operators in the game. Just good dudes, not a lot of chaos there, so what those guys have built quietly behind the scenes, it's quite amazing. So I think I give a lot of my credit to that team for the opportunity. And for me, man, I don't feel that smart. We have the internet now. I have an amazing group of people around me that I'm able to pool knowledge with and trade knowledge. And friends come and go, and it's just good to be able to trade knowledge and look at it. Put math and science behind your process instead of a lot of the art form. And I understand a lot of people see cannabis as an art, but I'm really big into making it consistent. Without math and science, you're never gonna cultivate and produce this crop at a high level.
Yeah, that's some great insight. And for those of you listening out there, what Trevor's trying to say, and I'll just sum it up is if you're out there trying to grow and you're not seeing the results you want, don't be afraid to change the way you're doing things. Don't be afraid to ask others for help. I think it's so important, just as a growing mechanism for us as humans, to just go outside your comfort zone, even if it's not something that you're used to or something that you want to do. It's only going to help you grow. Every L that you take, you learn from, right? So, and Trevor, when I call Trevor a pioneer, I mean it in a sense of like, he of course you're learning from the guys who were doing it, right? The guys, the 60s, 70s, 80s, whatever, right? 90s in the Emerald Triangle. But like, you've gone out, since then, right? From Deep Roots, and, you've started your own, entrepreneurial path, so to speak. So, I won't, talk about anyone you don't want me to talk about as far as your clients go, but I'll let you kind of talk about what you do on that side now. I can just tell you from base level guys, he's a magician. If you're looking for somebody to come into your operation, your grow, in particular your cultivation, if you need to increase yields, if you guys need to just increase overall potency or operational, the way your operations work, SOPs, this guy will come in and be the doctor that you need. But yeah, Trev, I'll let you kind of speak to, who you're working with now and kind of, what you've been up to lately.
Yeah. So after I worked at Deep Roots, on a, B2B and B2C side, traveled throughout some different companies and learned through that process. I've got my own flaws as a person, and I've learned from those along the way. So, the reason I chased the entrepreneurial, pathway that I did is I like chaos. I'm a little bit crazy, I would say, but I think I thrive under chaos. And if there's not a lot of chaos, my mind starts to wander. So I saw there was a massive opportunity in the cultivation side. I'm not a master grower at all. I really love
You're a good one. You're a good one, though. Hey, flip your computer just a little bit. I want to see. There. Yeah, much better. Thanks. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So ultimately, I saw there was a lot of chaos in the cultivation side of this business, based upon state compliance, testing labs, a lot of the equipment, green taxes people pay, Another thing from John Marshall, he always taught me, this is an industry built off. We're manufacturing now, and how cheap and efficient can we, make a widget while not sacrificing its quality. So, I've got a just amazing group of people. Greg from Shango, Jesse at Aether Gardens, my buddy Mike at Cannabiotics, John and Keith at Deep Roots. List goes on and on. So ultimately, my first project in this industry, I built out a infused chocolate line for Bang at Cannabative, and thank you so much, Cannabative, for giving me an opportunity to prove myself. I told them I knew how to make infused chocolate, and I really had no clue.
They're good. They're good.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah.
They set me up for success, and they backed me, and I just I dug in at the internet now, and I have a lot of smarter people surrounding me that help me through the process. So grateful for that. I crushed one project, and then like Trev, be honest, like you didn't know how to manufacture chocolate, but You've said you've known how to grow, and I'm like, you know what, I haven't grown on a commercial scale, and it always kind of made me nervous, but it also attracted me to how chaotic it was and how complex the problem was. So, they gave me an opportunity, Cannovative in Reno, Nevada, to renovate their cultivation facility. It's about 15,000 square feet of canopy. And it was a unique project. It was pretty hodgepodge. My perception is there's a lot of cultivators that want to, try new processes and new technology, but you got to keep the machine keep churning. Ultimately, you got to keep producing product, and if you float too much away from what you're good at, you're going to be a R&D facility, and that's how to bury companies ultimately. So I went in with the mindset and the overall vision of just consistency. The more consistent you could have your facility, the least amount of variables you could start tinkering with and putting a scientific process behind that. It's like, and then I really realized it's a math equation. The intensity and uniformity over the canopy during different growth stages, how you fertigate your plants, and the equipment used to fertigate your plants, the amount of pints per day of dehumidification, your sensible and latent loads for your HVAC, your suspension and work plane heights of where your plants are sitting and where the lights are sitting. So if you dive in enough, it seems complex on the outside, but then you start putting a process together, and I'm really big into simplicity, and then like I said, I constantly harp on it. Like, what makes me and my success is my network. Just smart people, dude, hard workers. I'm a pretty introverted guy. I don't hang out with a lot of people. I'm a little crazy, but I have just some of the best dudes that have been doing this for a much longer time than me that have, really uplifted my career, and I'm grateful for those people.
Yeah, man. Listen, I mean, I love the humble nature. That's part of why you're my friend, and why I respect you so much. But at the same time, listen, I've seen the work you've done. I've had the fortune enough to go in and see a lot of these facilities early on when they were just starting up, and Cannovative was one of those, and there was a lot of R&D going on there for a long time, and I saw what you did. I mean, it was a night and day. The quality increased, the yields increased, and just the overall operationally, you guys, it's a really smooth running operation now, clean, everything's dialed in. So, for what it's worth, man, yeah, the proof is in the pudding, right? And, you talk about equations and, math, and I mean, that's what it really boils down to, right? I mean, at the end of the day, as long as it's the right portions of each, that's all you're really looking for. I mean, when it comes to the stuff I've grown in the backyard, it's just the amount of water and sunlight that it gets and how much I can protect it, from that Vegas sun. For you, it's a controlled environment. So, it's just a little bit more, tactical you have to be with certain things, especially when you're feeding it nutrients, among other things. So tell me, what are some of the more what are some of the more finicky problems that you've had that you've been able to solve that you didn't think that you'd be able to? Like, what kind of you heard it and you were like, eesh, like, shit, okay, like this one's gonna make me put my brain to work.
The thing that immediately pops off in my head is solving the microbial issue in this industry, and there's some cheap and easy fixes. People are remediating their product in multiple different ways, and that's a really complex problem because when you're growing plants in controlled environments, it goes back to whoever designed and built these facilities. So a lot of these projects, especially the renovations, you can't stop production. You can't tear down the entire facility. So I'm big into sensors. I'm going to veer off path a little bit right now, but
It's okay. We got time.
Ultimately, sensors have saved my life. I've probably got about $30,000 worth of sensors, microbial sensors, pH, EC sensors, substrate sensors to understand what's happening inside the root zone, temperature, humidity, CO2 sensors, microbial sensors, light intensity and light spectrum sensors. So, you know, you figure out, and it's like a car, man. You could buy, a $50 sensor, you could buy a $5,000 sensor, and you pay for what you get. And when you have, this cash crop, that's extremely finicky, and you won't know if you're doing something wrong until, a couple days or a couple weeks after, so just controlling that and having the technology and the alarms to tell you if, DQs go out or ACs turn off, or just, it's invaluable. I'm excited for the cultivation aspect of this industry, based upon the chaos, but also the technology. And I think we're going to get to a point where a lot of these grow rooms are automated. I've got people, that are building machines to de-leaf, and perform plant maintenance inside grow rooms. What I've realized, and you asked what the most complex part of this business is. I think it's the microbials. You have, fertilizers, you have light, you have the proper temperatures and humidities inside these rooms, and some are built with organic materials, drywalls, green boards, wood framing, and if you take in, these microbial sensors, some of these environments just go haywire, so what products are you using to clean and sterilize your environments? And then you're going down, just a litany of ideas. So that's been one of the most complex problems, and every facility has problems. I think industry standards probably about 20% failure rate. Some facilities are better, and then some facilities, are even getting into, radiation. And people are like, oh, I don't want my weed radiated, but it's like, hey man, do you understand your food's radiated? Do you understand, the, CFU, the coliform, unit limit on, your food is much greater than your weed. So it's a really complex problem. And, I've worked with microbiologists, I've worked with, equipment manufacturers, I've worked with solution manufacturers to understand the efficacy of these specific products and how often you have to applicate them, and what you're spraying, what you're not spraying. And, some of these guys have used products in their crops, circa, 2012 in Colorado, and they've, killed, $3.5 million worth of crop to give these products and solutions an opportunity to give to the masses. So, again, people have made so many mistakes in the past, but ultimately some of those solutions are coming to light now and really helping out cultivators. So I learn every day on how to mitigate my pathogen pressures. So, it's a complex problem that I'm still trying to dial in completely.
I love geeking out with you, man. This is great. This is great. I mean, for those of you, this is like invaluable knowledge for those of you at home who are just sitting around thinking about, man, how could I grow my weed better? Well, listen to this podcast and you might have a leg up. Trev, what are some strains that, like, from your experience at least, that are there strains that generally are more susceptible to failing because of microbials, or is it kind of just par for the course for everything?
It's unique. I used to be a consumer first, and I, really enjoyed the, high quality products. And the more I've got into, this role, I look at manufacturing. There's so many genetics now. There's so many people renaming, cultivars that, they're not even crossing. There's a lot of, hype strains nowadays. Like, I don't think I'm the proper dude to tell you what strain I enjoy growing. I like to bring each strain and give it the proper environment to maximize its potential. So, man, I like certain breeders that I work with based upon, the quality of their product, and
Who
if it
who
hits my.
Sorry, who are some of your favorite in like Nevada? Like who do you like? You mentioned some names earlier. Some of your mentors and some of you people that you really just look up to in the industry. But what are some brands? What are some cultivators that are like really in your eyes doing it right? without, and you could be, you don't have to be politically correct on the show and say countervative and whoever. You could say who you really
Yeah,
mean, you
no,
know.
100%. You know me. I'm an honest dude. I like different cultivators for different reasons. Greg at Shango, I think he's the best manufacturer of product I know. Like, um, grams per square foot, whatever productivity metric you want to go after. I think Greg at Shango, I don't think you're going to find a better cultivator, man. That guy's so smart. I give so much of my success to that guy. He's amazing, man. And you also got to realize some of these facilities aren't meant for craft cannabis, based upon the size of these rooms, so the design aspect is so fun for me now because I get to look at a lot of these facilities that have failed for multiple reasons. It's like, well, this one's finding success because it's a little bit smaller, more controlled. These are just massive rooms. So, it's going to have more microclimates, more, hotspots, more pest and pathogen pressures because it's so big and it's tough to mitigate. Quality. My buddy Mike Chappelle that used to work at Cannabiotics. When I used to consume product, I don't smoke anymore. I got a really bad case of pneumonia a couple years ago, which Derek saw me go through, but I still love the smell of product. And Mike has always done amazing, and I think it's a multifaceted approach. They needed quality genetics, and the process had to be correct as well. I think Jesse at Aether Gardens does an amazing job. He's pretty counterculture in kind of how he runs his program, but he's found a ton of success as well. And again, I don't think I'm the best. I haven't consumed in 3 years. So whenever any of my friends get any product, as your stash box, I just love smelling the product and looking at it. And I think people are getting pretty good now. I know Steve Lycon, which is a really smart dude in the industry as well. He pushed out some quality product at Pheno. Yeah, I think there's a couple more good Grow Circle. I don't know if they're still in town. But
Oh yeah, they're crushing it.
I've always heard good things about GLP.
Yep.
And Steve does amazing. I don't know Steve personally, but he really has a good brand in this state, for various reasons. And so I think there's some just smart dudes, and that shows you as well that there's so many different ways to grow this plant. Like, the way that
Yeah.
GLP grows their product in, no-till living soil. He goes probably through really unique challenges based upon the beneficial, bacteria in his environment. I try to stay, a little bit more salt based, a little bit more commercial ag based. And does that mean my products better or worse? To each their own.
Yeah,
I want to create
bravo.
the best
Yeah.
product for the cheapest price because this industry is evolving quickly. And I think consumers are going to become more price conscious as this keeps growing. I want to stay competitive in the market. By having my own little spin on our flower. There's certain things that I don't spray my plants with anything oil based for any IPM. There's certain products that we're using to try to mitigate pests and pathogen pressure on our plants without spraying them with anything. So constantly looking at new tech, learning from Instagram. I learned so much from Instagram and the guys just posting free knowledge on there. I love it, man. I'm excited for this wild ride, and I'm excited, just smart people and myself.
Well, the love and the passion shines through for sure. Well, Trev, we're coming to a close here, and I know we've been talking a lot lately about your new brand, your new company you're trying to get going. And do you want to talk about it at all, or is it too soon, or what's up?
Yeah, no, I think it's perfect. I've been on this journey for about 2 years now, and I really haven't had any time to develop my business. So I was grateful to have somebody in my network, a guy named Derek, pretty smart dude, that has helped me kind of build a brand. And I feel pretty confident with what he's helped me create, and we should be having a couple more projects coming up. I'll have a website. I'll be building on my Instagram, free tech, free knowledge on my Instagram. Follow me, TLC Butta. And I'm just, so happy. So anybody reach out with any questions, I'm happy to help you with your home grow, your commercial grow. If I don't know, I know somebody that's smarter than me that you could pull knowledge from. So I'm stoked, man. I'm so thankful that you reached out to have me on this. I'm thankful for our friendship. I'm thankful for you helping me develop my business and go on bigger, more challenging, complex problems to offer simple solutions.
No, Trev, you're one of the smartest guys I know, man, not just in the industry, but in general. You've got a great head on your shoulders. And, I think, from what I've heard today, I mean, it's going to impact, those who watch this, because I think there was a lot of information there. You were dropping bombs on them, bro. Dropping bombs on them. Really great to have you. Real quick, it was TLC Butta, Buddah, or is that right?
Money.
Got it.
Correct.
On Instagram, give him a shout out. A shout out to the Jerome Baker Co. You know what I'm saying? Little Giuseppe pizza guy here. Good shirt, guys. We're losing headphones here. Well, thank you all for being here today. If you guys head out in Las Vegas this afternoon, check out Medizin or Planet 13. We got our trendy super blunts, 2.75 grams of infused blunt. Beautiful keef, live resin, the works. And then we also just dropped the trendy flower line. This is our Desert Diamonds. We have our Final Rose, our High Roller. We got it all. Check it out at Planet 13, the trendy flower line. Trev, thanks again for being here today, man. It's always a pleasure seeing you. And we will catch up soon. Thank you all for tuning in. Shout to JC again for the birthday. Yo, JC, I hope you're getting lit up tonight on your virgin cocktails. Have fun in OKC. All y'all, have a great night. Thanks again, Trev. Good night, folks.